Kipp, we are going full Oprah Winfrey today. We are giving everyone something. The entire audience is getting something. They are getting a free tool. I think one of the first tools that can show how you appear in large language models that I think is going to give you some unique data that you're not able to get anywhere else.
You get a free AI tool. You get a free AI tool. You get a free AI tool. Look, we talk about AI all the time. We talk about marketing all the time. This is something you and I have been wanting to build for a while. Huge shout out to the team at HubSpot who put this together, and we're pumped. Beyond excited to share it with everybody today.
Assistant search engines are all about mentions and impressions, and that is exactly what we are going to showcase on this episode. You really want to stay tuned if you want to know how to build an incredible brand and use the large language models to help you to do that.
I'm pumped. Let's get into today's show. Kieran, we got a fun one today. Not often we get to show real working software and have a lot of fun, but today we're showing HubSpot's AI Search Grader, which is a free tool, free for everybody, to see how your business, your company, your brand is showing up in LLMs. And the reason we did this is because recently we released our 2024 AI Trends Report, and there's tons of data in that report about AI adoption, and that like 73% of marketers are using AI to be more productive. And we were like, well, how do we help and support marketers to be more productive using AI? And we wanted to come out with an amazing free tool. We're coming to you with HubSpot's AI Search Grader. This shows you how your company shows up in large language models. And that is because search is changing dramatically. We've been going through a ton of data in HubSpot's 2024 AI Trends Report. 73% of marketers are using AI to be more productive, and this tool is going to be one of the things that's going to make you more productive. Check out that report, by the way, link down in the description below. But Kieran, before we get into the tool, we've talked a lot on the show about search changing and people not just going to Google, not just clicking on the 10 blue links. Remind us, like, what's happening in search, and why is a tool like this, and why is understanding what LLMs are saying about your brand so important?
Right. I think we have talked extensively. I actually think the very first time we talked about AI, we talked about this, which is the changing nature of search engines. So traditionally, we search on Google, get the blue links, and then we have these tracking tools that tell us where we appear for all the keywords relevant to our brand. Over time, what will happen is more and more people will go to these LLMs, these AI chat assistants, to actually get some of their questions answered. Again, talked about it before. For the most part, I go back and forth with an AI assistant to actually get answers to my questions. Very rarely use Google. There are still some things I use Google for. And so that means there's going to be a lot of people gravitating toward these AI assistants. And actually what's really interesting is we are going to have to understand how they think about our brand. But it is much more like a brand tool versus a traditional search engine tool. And that's why I think it's kind of cool, because you still can go to the traditional search engine and see how you rank in the first 10 links. But what you really care about in terms of the LLMs and the AI chat assistants like ChatGPT, Claude, shout out to Claude, hoping someone from Claude is actually going to come on the show, which is going to be really cool. And these other kind of AI assistants, chat assistants, what you really care about is like things like your share of voice, right? For all of the questions relevant to your brand, to your product, how many times did you appear versus customers, and what's the sentiment to your brand? And I think one of the unlocks that our team in HubSpot have done really well in this tool is showcasing like how LLMs are actually a really incredible brand tool, right?
Huge.
Because they are trained on the internet, and now you can actually ask incredible questions of how the internet thinks about your product. You can ask it things around, what is the sentiment towards my brand? What are the good things, the bad things? What's my share of voice? How many times am I appearing versus my competitors? And so I would say this tool for any company is actually an incredible brand awareness tool, right? And it's a really great way to think about the way you differentiate how you will be graded on an LLM, and how you actually want to look at your results in an LLM, and LLM for listeners, large language model, versus their traditional search engine. We've had a ton of fun playing around with the tool. The tool is going to evolve. We have a ton of ideas and things to add to the tool. But even for now, it can give you some pretty good data back from your brand versus other brands. So one caveat I will say is, if you are a growing company, or you're a company yet to really master kind of digital, you probably don't have any footprint online. You'll see like scores. You won't really have scores, or your scores will be very low. And that really is telling you need to be more present, right? Be more present in the spaces that matter to you. So I think that's what we're going to get into.
Perfect description of what's happening in the search game. And so let's show people what we're talking about. Let's get the tool in action here. The first thing I want to show is like basically the information that you're looking at. As Kieran talked about, like AI has access to a broad sample of the internet, and when you're doing brand tracking, brand awareness, all of those things, you're doing surveys to try to get a sample. And so it's pretty similar. And so what we're asking for is like, hey, put in the company name, put in the location of your company, what product or service do you offer, and then what is your company type? Like, are you a nonprofit? Are you a marketing agency, a consulting firm, what have you? And then you hit grade my brand. And Kieran, we have done this for a host of different companies that we're going to walk through right now so that everybody can kind of see some of the results. And the first we decided to go with, I don't know why, I think because we love Web3 crypto companies, we decided we wanted to do Coinbase and Kraken. And also we're friends with Meyer Gupta over at Kraken, who's the CMO there, and he's going to come back on the show again soon. But let me pull up the Coinbase. So Coinbase, massive public technology fintech company. They got a 26 out of 100. Not great.
Not great.
Not great. And the reason is they have very low brand sentiment, right? And what we're basically saying is that in terms of how their brand is being discussed by AI search engines, it's mostly negative right now, which is one of the reasons that we actually did want to do crypto, because it's a controversial industry and there's a wide range of conversations and content out there. And what you'll see that the tool do is it's using AI to create, personalized and custom recommendations for you. And my favorite part of the tool in the early days, Kieran, because this is definitely a V1, it's just OpenAI. We'll be adding other LLMs soon. Is this the breakdown of kind of real tangible things unique to your company that people are saying that's good and bad about you, right? And so Coinbase, they love that it's user-friendly. They love that it has high security standards and regulatory compliance. They hate high fees, customer support issues, and account restrictions. Like, as a Coinbase customer,
that is spot on.
Pretty accurate, right?
It's pretty accurate. It's so accurate.
You're like, wait a second, I just put like
exactly the things.
You're like, I just put like 6 words in, and I got this back. Like, that's pretty mind blowing.
Right. Yeah. Customer support atrocious. I don't know if it has been improved since the last time I had contact. High fees suck, and so like this is very accurate.
And then so I find this the strengths and weaknesses my favorite part of the report for any brand, Kieran. And then you've got share of voice, which is how frequently do you come up and how frequently do you come up against your competitors? And what's interesting is the tool got the competitors really, really right, actually, right? It got Kraken and Gemini, which are 2 of the major exchanges. It also put Square and PayPal and Robinhood and a lot of the other kind of consumer fintech companies there. And what it's also showing you is like, wow, Coinbase, relative to their size, is actually very underrepresented in this case in OpenAI relative to their competitors Kraken and Gemini.
The great takeaway here is they've got some things that I think it's so obvious for brands sometimes. If they really had incredible customer support and brought down their fees, it would be a game changer for them. Like I remember trying to fix a problem with them, and I honestly just gave up. It was like 6 months. I could not get a reply. They may have improved, so I want to like caveat that with that. This was like a year or so ago. So it actually gives you like the kind of top level things you can really do to improve sentiment as a brand. And I always think it's easier to work on like 1 or 2 things than all of the things. And then it does give you like that. If you want to think about the future of like search in some ways, it is much more around like how present are you in the places that matter in the LLM's training set. Like, and that's what this is showing you against competitors, just how often are Coinbase mentioned for the word or the product that you put in. It's really co-citation, which means like whenever the product is mentioned, the brand is mentioned beside it or within it, near those words. And so again, it's a pretty great that is a pretty great way to think about your brand awareness, right? Like in the whole of the internet, how many times am I co-sided with these products that I really are kind of product space? They are the public company in the space, but it does show you how undifferentiated that space is and how hard it is to stand out.
They're a major public company in the space. I mean, Square and PayPal and Robinhood are obviously public as well, but a lot of the other crypto exchanges are not yet public. But what we're really saying here is that instead of being able to type in a bunch and track a bunch of keywords and see where you rank in that blue link, it's how frequently you're going to get mentioned just across anybody who's looking for these things. Because remember, with AI search too, it's very conversational. And so part of it's like people are going to be refining through that chat interaction. And so the more share of voice you have in your category, the more likely you're going to get that continual mention and actually lead to kind of an off LLM interaction, right?
Right.
Hey everyone, quick stat for you. AI usage has increased 53% since last year. And you know how I know that? Because I just read our brand new 2024 AI Trends in Marketing report. This report is packed with original data. That data not only highlights the latest in AI trends, but also shows how businesses today are using AI to grow their business. You'll learn the top 5 AI tools for marketers, exactly how teams are investing in AI and where they're seeing the return on their investment. And you get a data-backed answer to the big question: is AI helping or hurting my marketing career? I invite you to steal and take all of our hours of research for free. Grab your copy from the link in the description below. Now back to today's show.
And we should say the results today are actually coming exclusively for OpenAI. In the not so distant future, you will be able to pick your large language model. You will be able to pick Perplexity. You will be able to pick Claude. You will be able to pick another large language model and actually see how you appear in the different large language models. So that's the other thing that is coming to the tool. So that's really important because, again, the actual large language models themselves are somewhat undifferentiated. I prefer Claude. I think they're awesome. But a lot of people are using different chat assistants, OpenAI, Claude, Gemini, Perplexity, whatever it may be. So you kind of have to see how you score across the different LLMs, and that's coming to the tool as well.
I also, Kieran, really love the themes and trends section here, where it kind of gives you more context. And like this, for example, like when ChatGPT discusses Coinbase, there's an emphasis on a variety of cryptocurrencies and services like Coinbase Pro, suggesting a specialization in the crypto sector. This differs from mentions of competitors like Robinhood and Square, where discussions focus on integration of traditional and crypto trading. Like, that is real important nuance.
Right.
Like, that's incredible.
So good.
Like, that is incredible to get for free. I'm sorry. Like, that's
so
really good.
Yeah. Like, I'm telling you, like, I think a lot of the ways that we think about brand awareness and those kind of studies are going to be incredibly outdated. And I think 100%. We're going to be able to, again, this actually does show you the power of AI, the disruptive power of AI, where we did an episode that kind of blew up a little bit, where you showed a prompt that you did that could replicate kind of a brand aided and unaided awareness study. And that industry is like $1 billion industry, right? And AI is so disruptive that in the future, I suspect there's just going to be a free templatized tool. I know there is because we're going to work on it, and we are working on it, that we can just give away for people to do that. And a lot of people are probably going to use that tool versus some of these studies, not maybe some of the larger brands. But that is how disruptive AI is, because you can build these tools so rapidly.
It's pretty incredible. That was Coinbase. You also did the Kraken, so we'd have like kind of a same competitor. Is there anything of note, like when you're looking at kind of similar companies in the industry?
It's actually pretty similar. Actually, I'm going to show a different brand, but it's actually pretty similar. I will say on the so like user interface actually was a weakness for Kraken. It's a strength for Coinbase. So great information for Meyer. We can tell them that when we come on. We can show them this. Account verification, and so it got mixed reviews. It's pretty time consuming. I actually am a Kraken user. This is somewhat true. System reliability, I know less about, but I will say all three of these are different from Coinbase, right? So it really is able to extrapolate the things that are unique for this company. And I will say Kraken, this is a strength of Kraken's wide range of cryptocurrencies, securities mentioned, advanced trading features mentioned. So it does a pretty good job. I think their sentiment is like somewhat better It's still mostly neutral. The reason it's mostly neutral is because it is a crypto platform at the end of the day, and what people care about is just a lot of functionality, right? So I don't think they feel very emotional about a crypto platform. Like, it's much more of a functional decision to make. So they score better than Coinbase, but they still are pretty neutral for the most part. But there's a brand out there, Kipp, that does far better than any of these two crypto platforms.
Oh, interesting.
And
well,
I think it speaks to, this is like how I would summarize America.
I love America. USA.
This is...
Wow. Okay.
Right.
69 is one 69. Of the higher scores I've seen
mostly
on so far.
Positive. So you're like, well, this brand looks like a real brand that people love. Obviously, it's not just people in America.
There's zero negative sentiment about this brand.
The entire why am I saying America? Because this is only available in America, but the training set is obviously universal because it's the OpenAI training set. What is it? It's obviously something you can eat, and it's incredibly bad for you. It is this thing called Muddy Bites that you just put me onto, which is like, why didn't you explain what Muddy Bites is? Because only an American company could invent something like this.
First of all, Muddy Bites are delicious, and I have nothing but positive sentiment on Muddy Bites. What Muddy Bites are is if you were a kid and you had like little drumsticked ice cream cones, and you would eat the ice cream, and at the very end, there'd be the ice cream end of the ice cream cone that was full of chocolate because they lined the ice cream cone with chocolate. And Muddy Bites is literally just the tip of the ice cream cone full of chocolate. And just a whole bag of those. And like, I'm sorry, that's delicious and amazing. And why wouldn't you want to eat that?
And so the thing you mentioned there is nostalgia. It gets nostalgia really well. It calls that as a strength, calls that quality ingredients, calls that customer service. I really just think we should live in an age where every brand thinks of customer service as a strength, and anytime it's a weakness, that's the thing you actually you orientate towards.
Well, I think what you're saying is customer service is not only a business imperative; it's a brand imperative.
It's a brand imperative.
If you have bad customer service, it is very hard to get over that from a brand perspective.
I think it is the number one brand technique. Like, it's actually it's like, of all the brand things you can do to improve brand awareness and brand positivity around your company, I would put customer support and service number one. And it's incredible to me that like most companies still do not do that, especially in an age of AI. Like, we're going to release some stats at some point soon. I actually make sure I can release them. We'll probably do them on the show. But like, the amount of coverage we have now through AI, and the AI is able to provide just as good experience as humans in a lot of cases, not all the cases, because we actually keep that score. And so, like, I feel like in the age of AI, customer service and success should be something people invest in. And so it has some weaknesses, but like, none of these actually are negative sentiment, price concerns. And the other two actually just speak to how popular it is, right? Availability issues and limited variety. People just want more and more of it. It doesn't have share. The share of voice here is zero because it doesn't know. It's such a unique and quirky brand.
Yeah, it doesn't know what the competitors are.
Yeah, it doesn't. But I think that is again a good example. If you're curious about a brand that you think is doing really well, jump in there and you can see why it's doing so well.
I think anytime you use a tool like this, you want to pick like really established brands, right? Because then you can also see basically what the gold standard might look like. And so what's interesting is like, we did Stanley mugs and products have been huge over the last year, right? When you're an up and coming brand, you kind of don't know what kind of pillars of your brand you should be focusing on. So one of the other ways I could use this tool, Kieran, is take all of the most successful brands that I admire, run them through this tool to understand the pillars that they have used to build their brand strategy. So you got Stanley here. And what I would do is I'd pick all the brands I love, like Stanley, and I would go and look at the strength for all of them, right? And like, what did they do? Oh, okay. Well, they've got quality product that is affordable, and they have really good variety and distribution. Like, that was the strength of their strategy. The weakness in their brand and their business strategy is bad quality control, customer service. The Kieran customer service point keeps rearing ahead. And then competitiveness and advanced features, right? But like you could pick American Express, Coca-Cola, Nike, Apple, whatever brands that you admire, and look at their strengths, and you can see kind of the pillars that they have built the brand and the product on. And it's a really good way to reverse engineer for your business what you might want to focus on and invest in to build a great brand longer term.
Yeah, I actually want to say this because then I want to clip it and send it to the team while I remember I have an idea now. So I actually think a good addition to this would be, okay, so the LLM, the tool works by you putting in some information about the brand and the product and the country, right? You have to do that for it to be able to start to like figure out how to pull your sentiment and share a voice specifically. And so what would be really cool is, to your point, if I just wanted to figure out how to build my pillars, like I how do I become an incredible brand, and these are the ones that I'm inspired by, so I have a couple of brands in place. And so what I actually should be able to do is go to an extension to this would be I can just put in the brands that I care about, and the LLM can go to the website and you can scrape the website and capture the details, so you don't actually have to put any of the details. All you need to do is put in a bunch of brand names, and then it can build you a brand report. It can basically tell you like what have these brands done really well. So we can build a version of that actually and put it out as content, and then we can actually provide the tool for other people to be able to do it for themselves. So let's do this, team. I'm going to cut this out, send it to you all. We've got some other features coming, but I think that would be a cool feature, because I actually agree, right? If I'm a startup and I have brands that I'm inspired by, this does a really good job of giving you the core pillars that you can replicate to be a brand like that.
And look, none of us are building companies to be a bad brand or to not care about this, right? So like, it's never too early in a company's life cycle to make this a priority, right? And to just have really clear of like what the pillars of your brand actually is. So that's AI Search Grader. It's a really fun tool that I think we've gotten past an MVP. We obviously want to add more LLMs. We want to add more features. So we'll probably do another show in the future once we've added some more of the robust features and kind of take everybody through that again. But it's still really good, and we really encourage you to check it out, give it a try. Link in the description below. Kieran, is there anything else that you want to leave people with when it comes to AI search and the changing search landscape?
No, I think this is the perfect explanation of how this is the perfect visual to showcase how we have said things will change for search engine optimization, where I think traditional search will still be very much focused on keywords and conversion. LLM search will be much more focused on mentions and impressions.
I think that is perfectly said. Go check out AI Search Grader. We'll be back with you real soon on Marketing Against the Grain.
This data is wrong every freaking time.
Have you heard of HubSpot? HubSpot is a CRM platform where everything is fully integrated.
Whoa, I can see the client's whole history, calls, support tickets, emails, and here's a task from 3 days ago I totally missed.
HubSpot. Grow better.